Hashtag digital finance. So yeah,
that was
there's
unnecessary.
I blame the Hibiki. Ladies and gentlemen, Quamrats, welcome to episode 15 of the Quamfy Show. And this is going to be more or less a little bit of a philosophy show, we think. We discussed where this episode is going to go. And right now, Quant is really busy with blockchain conventions, API days. They're not going to Token 2049. But yeah, they're just super engaged with all these boring conventions and meetings, seemingly boring, but they are a little bit of the flavor, as is with Cybos, and they are so important, right? To meet the people that you mostly only see remote, have some drinks, and share some stories, talk to each other. If you can remember Gilbert coming into the Quant main chat, talking to me like we met each other, we know each other. That is so important. And we only spoke for like 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. But in that world, that is everything. So what they're doing there right now is very important. And that means that there's not really focus on other stuff, meaning that there is not really much news. That being said, we will dive into their X, because there was on September 17th a report for the RLN where they were named together with R3. Digital Pound retweeted some stuff from the RLN, so we can dive into that as well, and we'll see. But yeah, times are changing. Also, markets are picking up. I also broke out the Hibiki again. I can't use a drink today. It's a little bit of a shitty day. But things are picking up. Markets are picking up. Quant actually passed 70 euros today for a bit.
Yeah, it Bitcoin did, and it felt like a relief.
Yeah. And Bitcoin is like 4% up in the 7-day. We spoke about Tau really briefly in the preparations, and they are actually like up a 2.5x on the 2 week, I think. Yep. If that will last, nobody knows. So yeah, we're just gonna dive into that for a bit. Always check our timestamps. If you want to skip ahead, you can use the YouTube slider thingy with the chapters that Tim always makes religiously, which is really cool. Check out our sponsor, BYBIT. Right, with our code, you get some extra discounts, you get some extra cash if you make a deposit within 7 days, and obviously you help us out, and we appreciate it very much. If you decide not to go with the BYBIT option, make sure to at least leave a thumbs up, throw an emoji in chat, and we love you even more. We'll reply, we'll respond if you have any questions. So Tim.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
How I'm feeling?
Yeah, man.
I think your day was much worse than my day, because I spent most of my day in a car, which really makes you wonder. I'm really at this point where I start wondering what I'm actually doing. I think that's kind of, we're talking about this philosophy. We're talking about some philosophy at least before the show and the preparations, and we will be talking about it for the next hour. But like, this was one of those days where I was really wondering what I'm doing sometimes with my life. So kind of, I managed to kind of get everything in order, right? So everything is in place. I moved this summer of a new house. Everything is kind of well designed right now. The interior is kind of finished. I'm finishing the last things. And I'm also going to switch my job like in the next 6 months. So this current job position that I'm in will end in like 6 months. And kind of everything is in order, right? And I feel like I don't really have any stress of my job and everything is okay, right? I'm actually doing better than ever. And still, I felt so miserable today because like it's a Tuesday and then like it's the most like Tuesday and Thursday are the worst days in terms of traffic. And I was just spending over 3 hours in my car today, so like 1.5 hours to The Hague and then 1.5 hours back. You're just standing still. You're just wondering, for who am I doing this? You know? Doesn't make any sense that you're just like everything is in order. I don't have any stress right now. Am I making
You're
myself
just
happy
wasting
doing
3 hours
this?
of your own time
Yeah,
every day.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really doing it for anyone. But then also it raised the question in me, like, everything is in order right now. I don't really have to do too much in my job. Everything is okay. But then even in a hypothetical situation where like the guys from Real Vision are right, because that's something we might also want to talk about this episode. I'm really
Yeah, the everything
struggling
code
with
you're
the
talking
camera,
about,
by
right?
the way. Yeah, with the everything. Really struggling with the camera. It kind of hates the t-shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah,
I'm white all the time.
it's
Yeah.
because of the light and because of the color of your camera or your background, probably.
Yeah, it's a combination of both. So for the people, so yeah, sorry, I'm going all over the place. But if the guys from Real Vision are right with their everything code, and it does mean that I will kind of receive financial, at least kind of reach financial freedom somewhere between now and 2030, what am I going to do with my time, you know? So it was a very, sometimes I have this debate with myself, but then we first need to reach it. And for the people who kind of missed it last week in the Dutch show, we started talking about the everything code because I was ill. I was terribly ill, not this weekend, but the weekend before. And I didn't, I had a fever. It was like 39 degrees Celsius, and your body is warm, but you're feeling cold and you feel terrible. I was like, okay, I don't really have anything to do. But Jarno sent me 2 videos. They take over, so one takes over more than 2 hours. I was like, yeah, I better watch it. And
Yeah, the
well,
videos are in the
basically,
description, by the way.
yeah, basically they just predict the bull market between now and 2026. And that's going to be really interesting if that happens.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a bit about me actually. Sorry
Yeah,
for going all over the place. That wasn't,
no,
I didn't intend to do that.
I
But
get it, right? I get it. It's the everything code, by the way, is something that is coined by Roll Pal from Real Vision. He now has his own channel, Roll Pal, the Journeyman, where he receives guests and does analysis. And it's a little bit of a spin-off of Real Vision. Um, but he dives into the everything code, and the everything code is something that was already there, like for like ages. If you can remember, there's this graph. I'll put it in the description probably, where you have like all these pointy cliffs, and all these years starting from 1900 all the way to 2030 something on where
it's
to
always been
sell
there.
and what. Say again.
It has always been there, kind of,
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah, and when markets will crash and when is a good time to sell, etc. Right? Those cycles have always been there, right? The 4 year, 8 year ish. What made that thing even stronger is the Bitcoin halving, right? Which luckily for us coincides with elections, as well as with market liquidity, rate cuts, and all that jazz, which is all connected. Um, I'm not even going to attempt to dive in. I think
No, no,
Roll
no.
Pal does that a lot better than us. That being said, um, even though the world appears to be on fire like it never has before, um, all those things will probably still happen, and we will most definitely probably get our bull market. Why? Because the world cannot go without it, and
No.
eventually the system will break, right? I mean, there's not enough duct tape and zip ties to fix what we have been breaking for the last 70 years, right?
Yeah,
Since the
7 decades.
60s. Yeah. But that being said, right, bull markets come in and things will change if you're invested enough and educated enough, and composed enough. There's a good chance you're
composure,
you're gonna come out of this really, really well, right? And obviously there's always circumstances, and there's always, oh, boo-hoo, you have chance for WW3 and so on. I'm afraid to say the entire word because I made a short a while back, and I said the WW3 thing outright, and I instantly got demonetized and needed to appeal and blah blah blah, because then the show or the short was about war, and that cannot be monetized. Same as with weapons and other stuff. It's pretty interesting how that goes. But yeah, and what is interesting is we are the royal we, at least Tim and I, and you probably are too, are busy trying to get settled for life, right? So that we can do whatever the hell we want when we want, and that we're not obligated to be stuck in traffic 3 hours a day. So we can be
I didn't really mind though, but
so we can be at a desk for 8 hours behind somebody else's computer, so we can make money for them as well as for the tax man, right? Because I don't know where you live, but in the Netherlands you pay like an average of 45% taxes on your salary and your income, and then you pay like 21% taxes on everything you buy, unless it's food or other necessities like that. Then you only pay 9%, which and then you got the inflation going on, and so on. So for like every hour you work, you get paid roughly 10 to 20 minutes. So if you do that for 8 hours a day and you drive traffic for 3 hours, you're technically losing, to be honest, because in those 3 hours you're not making money.
And it's not about the thing that I don't enjoy working. That's not the thing. It's more about just being able to not having to do that, right? Having the luxury of not having to go through everything. That's also the main point.
I also don't hate working, but I do hate working on things that I don't give a crap about. And I hate working for people that don't give a crap about me, which is the case in like almost every case. But anyway, that's not where we're going. What is interesting is that both Tim and I set out on a journey somewhere in 2020 to become financially free, make our own decisions, and not be bound by the laws of normal men, right? Get up at 8, rush to work, come back at 6 exhausted, eat, sleep, rinse and repeat until you're 68, and your body is entirely destroyed and you cannot enjoy the wealth that you potentially have gathered after anything is maybe left from taxes. But what we spoke about is, why are we alone in this, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the feeling I have sometimes. It really feels like, wait, I need to make a timestamp. But sometimes it feels really kind of a lonely experience, in the sense that, how do I say? Like, it's not that the people we talk with are stupid or anything. It's just that they don't see the same thing as I see in this. Maybe they aren't financially capable of doing it, but they're also not willing to do that. So, like, investing.
What is that? Yeah, okay, you're gonna explain now. Sorry, go ahead.
No, since I think investing, especially here in the Netherlands, is kind of not a very common thing to do. I think we
24%.
24%. Okay, yeah.
24% of adults in the Netherlands are invested.
Yeah, we talked about it in the last Dutch episode, and then because we kind of touched upon it, and we've actually gone in depth on this subject somewhere last year or this year. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's not within our culture, right? It's not within our culture. We're not.
Yeah, here it's not really a cultural thing, and sure, there are certain even colleagues of mine who invest, and some people around me, but it's all kind of niche, and you don't really talk about it, and neither do I, honestly, because I know people aren't really interested in. If things go wrong, they'll start mocking me. It's for fun, though. Like it's mostly banter, but for it sometimes a kind of serious undertone, and it feels kind of lonely, like watching this everything go out of roll and watching those videos and actually spending your time trying to understand what's going on, and the rest of the world just doesn't really seem to care, or well, they could do it, right? You don't have to invest with a lot of money. You can still do it with like small portions of your money. It's interesting for sure, and sometimes I'm kind of disappointed in the circle of people around me in that sense. It's not that they are stupid. It's just that they don't really have the will to do so.
I think it's a position of fear. It's a position of luxury, and it's a position of no. It's a product of luxury, comfort. It's a product of education. I have a lot of very intelligent people in my family and around me. A lot of people are well off, right? They're all masters, graduates, right? Psychologists, dentists, teachers, and so on. Most of them are not invested.
No.
And obviously, we are mostly invested in crypto. But even when I was mostly invested in traditional,
yeah,
there was no interest whatsoever. And I mean, some of them have some investment portfolios, more or less, because either their financial advisor recommended it, or they did it because I was in there. But mostly they have maybe their own business, right? If you have your own company, you own a building outright, and it's a dentist practice with like space for like 4 dentists and 4 oral hygienists, then that's a proper investment too, right?
True. Yeah, absolutely.
But stock market
business is something else.
Yeah, for sure. But still, then it's good practice to be invested with a portion of your capital just by means of diversification and so on, right? If there's another COVID shit going on, and you need to close your doors again, right? Hypothetically, for a couple of months to a year, your business is going to be in trouble, right? And your insurance is not going to cover because now they have all put probably things in their terms and so on. Anyway, but even talking with them about investing, there is this culture or this preconception that investing is dangerous, that the stock market is unreliable, unpredictable, and with crypto even more so. And they're not wrong when it comes to crypto. But it is really, really difficult to connect. And especially if we're looking at what we're into, it is really rough to have conversations with people when it comes to your investments and your theses for the future, the projections that we do or do not have, and with our goals, right? That's what we started with.
Yeah.
Becoming financially free and independent, not necessarily digital nomads like some people I know, right? That are actually residents of the UAE. You have to be there like 3 months a year, and then you are tax liable in that country, and tax there is 0. And then they live for like 5 that many months in, for instance, Thailand, and then for another 2 something months in Europe. So they're not tax eligible tax liable, sorry, in those other countries that roam around. That's not necessarily the goal, right? Children, Tim doesn't, but we just want to do whatever the fuck we want when we want, without any strings attached or obligations. And that doesn't mean that we don't want to work. It just means for me that I don't want to do your work, right? But in the Netherlands, we have this culture where everybody just wants their safety and their security, right? The Netherlands, everything is arranged pretty well. I mean, you pay your ass off for taxes and for your healthcare. But if I now break my legs, both lengthwise, I'll be covered. If I'll be in hospital for the rest of my life, I'll be covered for the rest of my life. So that is all well taken care of. If I lose my job for some reason, I'm covered for a certain amount of years, and so on, right? The social security we have here,
That's strong, yeah.
Is arguably, hold on, Tim, is arguably really good. But that means for a lot of people that they are really, really comfortable. And if I look at my dad always had a good job. He worked his ass off up until his pension. He has a really, really good pension. I mean, he gets a lot of money going in, and it is way more than he can ever spend with his lifestyle right now. But his lifestyle right now has been the same for like 10, 15 years from when he retired. And he does not have the physical ability to do anything interesting anymore ever since like 10 years, which is really sad because he has worked for like 40 something years for retirement, which now consists of sitting on the couch and watching state television. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. And obviously do things with the grandkids and so on.
A public broadcaster, not necessarily state television.
But public broadcaster,
state propaganda. That's something else.
Well, let's not get into that.
Let's not enter. This is not a political show.
No, but I mean, he loves life, and that's all fine. He's really happy. He can give his grandkids and his kids whatever they need and want, and so on. But even people age of Tim, right? Tim is now, I can say your age, 27. Right? 27, yeah. They are still clinging on to the dream of now working and then retiring. And I was age 65 when I was still working full time. And now it's crawled up to 68.
Yeah, something like that.
67, 68. And that just keeps going up. And yes, life expectancy is going up. But if you look at how the health of everybody is evolving, I'm not so sure if all of you waiting for retirement will not be super obese and still healthy by the time you reach retirement. And to me, and I think also to Tim to an extent, it feels like a little bit of a fallacy, right? It's a little bit like like heaven for religious people. And I want to start this discussion, but you behave now, you act now by certain rules, so you can have something later on that seems like a utopia or whatever. I think it won't exist by the time you reach it. I'm a more of live in the now kind of guy. And that's why I'm here. But nobody else has that. And I spoke with Tim and he feels the same.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I can hear you. Give me a second.
Yeah. The thing is, all you just said is true, right? And in a certain sense, it indeed is a fallacy. But there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, that people just want to do that. And also society, if we want to keep society functioning, people have to do it. I don't think that is necessarily a problem, and becoming like a digital nomad and just not paying taxes anywhere and just going everywhere around the globe. I'm not so sure if that is an ideal lifestyle. But I feel like there's this difference between like people who are generally not really invested into anything and they just live their life and they're not bothered. You also have this trend of people would want to do like the opposite of it, like the get rich quick schemes. You know, the people who believe that everything is possible within like a couple of years, which is also not really true, unless you get lucky in crypto.
Really fucking not well.
But sometimes it feels like people kind of
Just getting lucky won't be enough. Let me really hammer on this really quickly, because you might get lucky and get a shitcoin, and that shitcoin can go like a gazillion X. That was the luck bit. But the actions you take afterwards, that's a skill.
exactly, yeah. And that is the thing, right? I feel like we're kind of stuck in between like two positions, either where people don't really care, or they invest with a small portion of their portfolio and just do it like over a long period of time, which will kind of eventually end them in an earlier retirement. Although what Raul and Julian Bittel kind of said, well, it's a question how well that will work, because also if you look at the debasement of currencies where you just lose money if you don't really beat the market. And on the other end, you have these idiots who think you can get rich quick, also the kind of people we find in crypto. But then how are you going to preserve that wealth? I think really kind of combining those two, there are very few people who actually do that, because they all want to get rich quick, but they don't have any plans what to do with it afterwards. I think, and we are kind of in that middle path. We try to indeed kind of concentrate, or in this stage, concentrate our wealth into certain picks and kind of outperform the market. But after that, we will definitely have to kind of diversify.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people who actually see that, and that kind of makes it a lonely experience at times, at least for me. Sure, there are like-minded people we talk to on Telegram, but just in my social network in real life, I just don't really encounter people like that. There are some, but they are very rare, which is kind of
Yeah.
disappointing at times for me, at least.
I am actually not really actively yet, but trying to figure out where to meet like-minded people, right? I was thinking about this, right? In my example, I do have kids, right?
Hmm.
But I'm a full-time dad, right? That's my job right now. If I want to go do something on a weekday, I'm 40 years old, by the way. Or I want to go do something on the weekend, it's really fucking difficult to find people to do that with, right? Even when you're younger, it's probably even worse, right? When you pass like the age of maybe 24, 25, right? You go past college age, trying to do stuff. Imagine in the case of Tim, you don't have any kids, you don't have to work. Like, yeah, you have like what, 10, 20 million in the bank. You can do whatever the frick
Wish
you
you had
want,
that.
whatever you want. Give
Yeah.
it a couple of years. But then the next problem, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And with whom? Right? Where are you going to find people that are both wealthy, but also not hyper absorbed by their jobs, or hyper absorbed by their families and their children? And with hyper absorbed, I don't mean anything negative by this.
No, absolutely not.
But let's call it hyper focused, right? That's kinder, that's nicer, that kind of describes better what I'm trying to say. So let's say now, I had time and space, and I spoke to a mate. I was like, "Yo, whenever you're in Europe, let me know. We'll meet." I'm available, right? I can make it work here, and I can just come over and just chill for like 4 or 5 days, no worries. That is apparently difficult also for people within our community, right? Um, there's this, there's very few people that can truly live without an agenda or
Yeah.
filling up their entire lives. And I think that that feeling that you always need to hustle I think that is very, very, very detrimental to people's health. That is also a reason why people, when they have worked their entire lives, they were self-employed or entrepreneurs or whatever, they can't stop because they have no idea how to fill the void, which is actually a chapter in the 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. If you ever want to read that, filling the void is a thing, right? If you don't have to hustle anymore, what the hell are you gonna do?
We discussed this earlier. I was at
Yeah,
some stages where I was kind of in between jobs because that's kind of how the construction with me works. A
yeah,
company hires me and they send me to their clients, and
yeah.
if there's no clients available, I'm just kind of I'm getting
You're
paid
in
to do
limbo.
nothing basically. I'm in limbo.
Yeah, yeah,
But what the hell am I going to do with my time? Because all my friends are at work.
yeah. What are you gonna do? And that is, for me personally, not an issue at all. I'm happy to go fishing by myself, right? Grab a kayak, or just go to the water and fish, or just go into the gym, work out a bit, do some metal working, right? I have all these things that I really like to do, um, but I need the resources financially
Hmm.
to to arguably make that happen, as well as not being with kids like all day. It was funny, by the way, Tim. I don't know if I told you this, but the kids had summer holiday like up until a couple of weeks back,
Hmm.
and I thought that that would be a lot more challenging than being at school because they were home all the time. I was wrong, and I'll tell you why. Because when the kids are home, they're home, right? And you just wake up, they get into a routine, they do their thing, then Damien goes off to bed, and Nikita does whatever she does. And then the day just passes, and you're at home the entire day. You could do whatever you want the entire day. When they go to school, day starts at 7. Kids need to get to school between 8 and 8:30. That means that in between that time, you have nothing. I'm usually asleep, so it doesn't really matter for me. But then I need to go pick up Damien from daycare at like 11:30. Then he needs to get fed. Then he needs to get to bed. When he's in bed, I cannot leave the house for more than an hour. That which makes it then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock ish, and then I'm already close to picking up Nikita from school at 2:30. When that happens, I need to go start making preparations for either dinner or for sports and so on. So that means that during the day, like every 2.5 hours, there's like this hard uh, task job that needs to get done. Because if it doesn't get
Hmm.
done, your kids are gonna be really sad. Daddy, you were supposed to pick me up. And that is actually more stressful than just having the kids around the entire day and have to do whatever they want. Which is interesting because that stress just doesn't work for me,
No.
right? Because you can't get anything done. You can't go fishing for like 2.5 hours. Not really, because you
No,
have to.
because by the time you get there and you've set up stuff, and then you actually need.
Then you need to get back again.
Yeah, and also the fish, you need some time to actually.
Yeah, which is a little bit of annoying and a paradox and so on.
Yeah.
But that's got to be a millionaire's problem as well, right? It's, you want to both associate, I think, with people that can either share your agenda or not, but you also just want to speak, right, with other like-minded people, kindred spirits, if you will, from time to time, share some drinks, have some laughs. That's also why we started the Quamfy Retirement Club thing, right? To try and connect with people that are quote unquote in the same boat, right? To
Yeah.
build a certain amount of trust, build a
For me,
certain.
I've been sorry. Yeah, indeed. I mean,
I go.
that's indeed that lifestyle thing. Well, I think mainly for me, sure, we are very early with this. We first need the bull market. But in case things happen, for me, well, personally, I think I will be able to kind of start doing what I really like because now I'm just, in all honesty, I'm just pursuing, I want to say purchasing, think in terms of money. I'm just pursuing a career that's kind of, it's secure, right? So it's giving me security. I know like I can afford everything. I don't really have to worry about my job because, well, there's a lack of people doing this, but it's not necessarily what I really like. It's not like what I intrinsically want to do. I want to spend my time on other things. I think for me, once things happen, I will be able to do that finally, or at least use my money to start doing other things, like start my own business in something, or make my own investments into something and run that investment. Do it make any sense? Right? There's
Have
always
you
this.
tried?
You always have these small dreams of doing
Have,
this or that, and
have you tried discussing those things with people? Because
no,
whenever I
because
tried, not exactly, but whenever I try to talk with people about the future, right, and I'm projecting into like a couple of years from now, and my dad's first response is, "Yeah, you need to get an income first." I'm like, "Okay, listen, dude. The way I see it, um, I had an income. I invested my income. I 20x my income in a time span of like 3 years, even while it's down. Why can't we now just discuss what things will look like when they get even better?"
Yeah,
And that's
because it
hard.
first needs to happen.
Yeah, but
So I'm
that's what
dreaming
people
out loud.
always people.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting to me. People always say you need to have a plan. You need to prepare 5 years, 10 years into the future. Blah blah blah. A plan for the future is always hypothetical. Always, even if you have a steady job and you have a contract, right? Case in point, COVID. Everybody thought they had a job and then you didn't. Joke's on you. Where's your 10-year plan now? But if I say, okay, my plan is to sell the top at this bull market and then buy a house at the water and get my own boat and my own yard and blah, blah, blah. And then people are like, yeah, motherfucker, you're dreaming. And then I'm like, okay, motherfucker, but you were fucking dreaming 10 years ago about your job or your mortgage, and then you got fired because of COVID. So who's the dreamer now, right? But that, right, to not really be able to IRL discuss possibilities and probabilities on a level playing field when it comes to investing, whether that being in traditional finances like stocks, bonds, metals, whatever, and crypto, oftentimes is just exhausting. I mean, even with my partner right now and other people, there's still always this, how do you say, disbelief, this veil of, yeah, I trust you, but I think you're full of shit kind of attitude.
I feel it with everyone I speak to about. So that's the reason why I don't really speak about crypto anymore with anyone.
You actually financed your goddamn house 30% from crypto profits.
Yeah, that's the thing. That people don't really believe me, but I'm the one who actually has the nicest house of my entire group of friends.
Okay, but besides whether it's besides whether it's nice or not, you
sorry, yeah, I was a bit.
You actually paid your house 1/3 of the way in cash from crypto, right? You bought 1/3 of a house with crypto proceeds, and you still have a ton left. And
I'm not so sure.
Now, give or take, right? I mean, that is already like 1,000x what people expected that would happen if you told them you were going to plan this 3-4 years ago. And what annoys me the most is I have a similar situation, but then the people say, yeah, but you're not going to repeat that again. You're not going to do it again. And which is also annoying, but this is just an ego thing. but still, right? Not being able to level playing field, share, discuss with people, with most people, is just super annoying, and especially with peers, right? I mean, you have a lot of colleagues, like you said, not being able to connect because people are just not put it in a savings account. Or I'll just throw it in my liver or in my nose or in my car. Yeah, how many fucking idiots still buy a new car? Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you if you're not into the 7 to 8 figure portfolio?
That's
Why
one
are
of the
you
things.
why are you
There's
buying a new
also,
car?
yeah, that's one of the discussions that I do not necessarily have, but what I think about it, like with these status symbols, like a car or a phone or whatever. I think I even got into like some kind of, I don't know, really an argument, but like I think someone said something about my phone once, and I kind of played the joke with them, right? I went with along with their joke, but I was like, "Are you seriously talking about the phone that I have? Like, it's something that I use, right? It's gonna last for like 2 3 years, and I buy
Yeah,
another phone,
yeah,
and it doesn't really even like financially impact me. I could buy the most expensive phone you want, and it wouldn't financially. It's just a fucking phone. What are
yeah,
we talking about? Like, you're kind of making fun of it.
yeah.
You wouldn't even imagine. Like, I
Oh,
was playing along with them because they
I thought
literally
you
have
were
no
so
clue.
wealthy. I thought you were so wealthy. You don't even have the
No,
Samsung
but they
Ultra.
don't.
Woo.
But they don't
What?
really have any clue about the amount of what I actually own. So I just go along with them. I was like,
Yeah, but
are you seriously doing this? Like, and also I think a couple of years ago, and that was actually with a colleague who did really well, by the way. It was also having his own business, and actually that guy was, I respected him. He was also in crypto and stuff. But he also said, yeah, you just drive to, you're just saying that because you can't afford it. I was like, that's not necessarily how it works, but I'm not going to argue with you. I think it's stupid to invest your money in status symbols,
yeah, but
right?
that's
I would
also
only do that when I'm filthy rich.
the culture right now, and um, it's just annoying.
People
Anyway,
are just
let's
obsessed with the wrong things. That's the thing.
yeah, I think it's a priority thing, and that's what I also meant with right. People are really fucking comfortable.
It's short-term gratitude over long-term like
Yeah,
focus.
yeah, yeah, and it's a lack of vision and a lack of a willingness to educate, right? And most people are only willing to consume information when it is um, when it is an absolute necessity, instead of reading up on something, being interested in something, and then going for that, right?
No,
Um, I don't know. I might be wrong. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
it's a complicated topic.
and also sometimes like change your circle at least, and you feel like everyone. That's kind of hard, especially with people and friends. But like sometimes I feel like I need kind of a change of the people I spend my time with
Yeah,
because it's really when nobody's really doing anything better than you, it gets kind of
yeah,
tiring. If
yeah,
it makes any sense.
yeah, yeah,
I
for
always need
sure.
some kind of
I
goal to.
give it 4 months. I think before the change of the year, I'll have like at least 3 4 people coming up to me like, "Yo, Jarno, weren't you the guy that was into the crypto thing?" And in that regard, I'm so happy that I now have a Quamfy show. I'll just, yeah, here's the URL, motherfucker. Go like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
Hey,
being said, I am still convinced that by the time Quant passes all time high, I'm gonna pull the plug on this. I think,
yeah,
or
we've
or
been
maybe
discussing this, and
or maybe we'll pivot. So we're not only quant focused anymore, because
no,
inevitably everything will correct. And then most of you crybabies will be knocking on our door again, saying that we were liars.
yeah, well, we are. Well, the future has to prove it, but let's look at Coingecko.
Yeah. So here we are, Coingecko. Let's zoom it in a little bit. All right. So right now we're at 2 trillion market cap again.
In the everything
2.1.
code, they predict a 12 trillion market cap after this cycle. So that's roughly a six
Yeah.
time
So
increase
6x.
from where we are currently.
Yeah. That's a 6x from here.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin dollars will go down. Oh, we'll see. Yeah, Bitcoin yeah, took a nice little seemingly leap. Not really, because of the scale. Yeah, so on the last 7 days, let's see if I can move this without fucking everything up. Yeah. Bitcoin went from 53 to 57. Which is only 1.3%. And this is where things are really interesting because if we get a 1.3% increase on Quant, nobody's batting an eye. But if you get a 1.3% on a $50,000 asset, well, that's a different kind of cookie, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think that is funny, and I think a lot of people keep forgetting what an enormous impact. Imagine having 10 Bitcoin and a 1% increase just increases your portfolio by 57,000 euros, roughly.
I think in
That's
general, we are really on track for like a nice Q4. And also with the rate cuts that we got, the predicted rate cuts in the everything code, we actually got the rate cuts like with 50 BPS cut, I think.
yeah, and the Fed's not gonna back down from that.
No, they're not. And I think the macro conditions are really working in our favor right now. Money is getting cheaper again, and that liquidity must be invested somewhere. And it's going to be crypto, partly. So like that's also one of the questions I get now from people, because some are waking up. They also ask me like, where to invest, right? So where to put my money. Obviously, I'll tell them QNT, but I think in general, and we also kind of discussed this in a group somewhere, I don't even remember which discussion. And I said, like, I think in general, we will see a rising tide, if that makes any sense. So, like, I think all the boats are going to go up with the tide, and it doesn't really matter where you are. In general, the market's going to be in our favor. So it doesn't really matter which crypto you buy, at least as you are exposed, you'll be good. It's just, for me at least, it's a matter of some of those will outrun the rest. Some of them will outperform. And with QNT, there's just a higher probability that we will do that because there's just so much FA, there is so much
So
of
many people on the
certainty.
sidelines that have been eyeballing it for a long time.
Yeah, and there's a ton of people who kind of know about this now. And it just needs a little bit of confidence in order to
yeah.
enter again.
Looking at the top 20, almost everything is up roughly 10%, 12% on the week. Some a little bit more, right? SUI, ICP for some reason. Tau up 80% on the week. So something is happening.
80%?
Yeah, it's insane.
That's insane numbers.
Yeah.
Tau is one of those cryptos I just don't want to talk about anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's giving me anxiety.
I bought it, I sold it eventually with a more or less of profit, and I'm not buying it back again. I'm not too sure about the narrative. I mean, I'm sure about the narrative, but
AI hype in combination with
I'm not too sure about the product. So we'll see. I mean, I have a ton of other stuff. What is interesting, by the way, the hamster combat thing, right? All of you probably heard about hamster combat. I got my air drop allocation. It's not fantastic. I mean, it's pretty good. I'm getting like 2,200 something of those coins. but they managed to, after all the bans and blah blah blah, because a lot of cheaters were banned, like 2.5 million. There is like still 200 million eligible people for the airdrop left. So Hamster Combat, Tim, is gonna start out with 200 million wallets. 200 million wallets.
That is an insane amount of.
QNT has 150,000 wallets. Hamster Combat has 100 billion, it's with a B, tokens. So if you look at those stats and realize how many people are actually in crypto right now, right? There's 200 million people that played that fucking game and are gonna get those coins. The last time we checked, as far as I know, Bitcoin had like 200 million wallets.
Yeah, true.
So Hamster Combat's gonna probably match the amount of Bitcoin wallets from being a game only online for 6 months.
One of the points they make in the everything, and they make a lot of points in the everything code, there's also the amount of crypto users. So roughly by 2030, they expected half of the world's population, so around 4 billion, will be around 4 billion people involved in crypto. If you think about that, there will be a 4
Adoption
billion
for crypto
wallets.
is 2x the adoption of the internet.
Yeah, that is an insane statistic.
Yeah,
and if you then,
because the internet was already like 4x on telephone and like a 20x on radio, some stupid.
It's truly
like
exponential. And if you then realize that Quant only has like 150,000 wallets, we are literally nowhere in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
we're just a blip on the dot. We're just a blip on the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, Polygon.
That's
I still have
mind-boggling.
Matic. Do I need to migrate my Matic? Because I still have some Matic. I don't know.
Man.
Anyway, Quant is in position 77 with a 1 billion market cap on the 24-hour. It dumped from $71 back to 69 something. If you look over the month, Quant did well with bottom at 51, and now we're back at 70. Decent. KuCoin has their own token now, which is cool.
Yeah. They
so yeah,
always had their own token.
There's a lot of green on the day. Some stable coins, not necessarily.
Which is annoying, all the green. I just got my salary today, and then I start investing again. But a week ago, I could buy Quant for like 10 euros less. So I actually want to see it drop, but then afterwards it can go up again until my salary comes, and I want it to drop.
So we're delighted together with Inside R3 to welcome the publication by UKF Tweets of the result of the Regulated Liability Network experimentation phase. Today is a milestone in the UK's efforts to unlock the benefits of true #digital finance. So yeah,
that was unnecessary.
I blame the Hibiki.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I should actually also. I don't have any whiskey here.
Oof.
Should join you on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. Now we should maybe for the next English episode or for the Dutch episode, we just meet at your place while the weather is still okay, and maybe just do a live one there. Because it's shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, we can do that. I'll just bring a webcam. We just do 2 webcams. We'll figure it out. That'd be cool. So UK finance, UK regulated liability and network experimentation phase report. We all knew that Quant worked together with R3, building digital solutions for financial markets, and this report was the end of a phase again. all these things have phases. All the banks that are in there, right? Barclays, Citi, HSBC, Lloyds, Banking Group, MasterCard, NetWest, Nationwide, Santander, Standard Chartered, Virgin Money, and Visa work together on this. And we already knew that Quant R3 DXC technology, not XDC, DXC. Destroy me in the
There are some
comments.
degens who kind of confused those two.
Yes. It made a typo. No, you're just an idiot. And CHEATCODE, right? Those are the lawyer parts there. Together with other participants, Quant and R3 reviewed and worked on various technical, legal, and business case questions surrounding the development of the RLN, and the main conclusions are such a platform in collaboration with other important initiatives such as open banking could deliver economic value and support innovations in the market. New functionality such as programmable payments and locking/unlocking of funds could be delivered across a range of use cases. It could provide new and innovative firms with a single common point of access to enable them to interface with established institutions and enhance payment and settlement systems. And last, the legal and regulatory framework of the UK is sufficiently flexible to support the implementation of an RLN. And the last part is the most interesting one because the other ones we already knew. Legal regulatory framework of the UK is sufficiently flexible. This was always a thing, right? Because we never thought about tokenizing parts of the economy and the implications of that. So that needed to be explored well. And that's why they also used CHEATCODE and so on to look not only to the letter of the law, but also the spirit of the law, and to what extent could they wiggle and work through the current rules, boundaries, and limitations to make everything as functionable and as ideal as possible without needing to rewrite or pass new laws. Because getting new laws, and I'm not a politician, nor do I have any legal education of meaning.
You're not a regulator.
But that will take donkey's years to get done, and that would be a very big problem. So that this now is the case and fact, that is really good. Also, because of this, I'll argue that this conclusion will also have fed into the gateways being a legal possibility right now.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as they're being hosted from the UK.
It's just really significant that it is there. I just notice I don't really read those things critically anymore, right? I kind of take it as a notion of like, okay, nice to know. But this is significant because it's always been kind of the case. And also when I did my thesis and I was speaking with a lot of people in fintech, everyone said, well, technologically we can do everything right now. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
It's all about regulation. We need the regulators on our side. And that their conclusion literally is now also with CHEATCODE as legal form that, hey, actually the regulatory framework is sufficient to do this. That is really good news.
Yeah.
We just we've become oblivious to it.
Yeah.
But it could indeed coincide with the change in the terms of service. Gilbert bringing up the staking discussion once again.
Gilbert did not come into chat to see if
Don't
those
take this
three
lightly.
brawlers. Gilbert didn't come into the main Telegram chat to check if those brawlers were in there asking. No fucking way. We spoke about this on a Dutch show last week. Gilbert did not come into main 3 weeks ago with the sole purpose of asking, are those guys in here? Hello, guys. Sorry. If you were the ones on LinkedIn, taking the piss. Could you please raise your hand? Gilbert is not that naive. He used that as a way to get in because he just wanted to say, have you seen A Few Good Men? I think he wants to say it. He wants to let us know, blah, 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 blah. And then he asks, did you order the code red? You're goddamn right, I did. You know that scene?
You asked me the same
No?
question last week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you called me a toddler.
Yeah. You told her. You still haven't seen it.
Toddler.
Yeah. No. But that was great. And I think that was Gilbert. I'll put a link to the YouTube video fragment of that. But Gilbert came definitely in chat to share this, but didn't want to give the illusion that he's got to do a full AMA. Definitely,
No,
probably.
He came in on a Saturday afternoon to just create banter, and it's just good news, man.
Yeah,
it really is. And the question is how this will play out. But the general direction of the macro environment in the FA of Quant itself is great. The fact that we
unprecedented
is unprecedented. Yeah. Actually, every week is unprecedented because we are moving in the right direction. The glacier is moving in the right direction for us.
Yeah.
With this 2030 timeline, and well, the further we move towards that goal, the easier it gets. But the fact that we kind of have regulation now also on our side is significant.
I know I'm biased, but there is right now not a single company in crypto or outside that I know of that is positioned so well as Quant is right now. Patents in place. Japan, Europe, UK, US. Is the US granted? US is granted, isn't it?
Yeah, US is granted.
Yeah. So, and they have multiple patents still pending, and one even granted in the EU, right? For the multi-cloud, what's it, something. That means that people have to find other solutions. But if you're first to market, you're biggest to market, all those type of things, Quant scores top points on all these things.
Yeah, and you're on board with the regulators. That's pretty significant that you don't need to fight legal battles later on.
Still, right? One of my biggest reasons for going all in on Quant in 2020 was seeing where Gil was, what his idea was for Overledger network, and applying for the patents, as well as having SIA on board. And I didn't know fuck about fuck, to quote Roel Pell back then, but I could connect those dots as to seeing how that man positions himself and how he was planning.
Yeah, seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, to do what he wanted to do. And it's not like that I'm some super genius, but I just went in, I think, more or less I knew nothing, and I knew that I knew nothing. So when I looked at the information that was presented by a friend of mine that was in the Dutch Quant Group as well as in the Quamfy Lounge, and I just had everything on my screen, I was like, holy fucking shit, right? That just looked like a recipe for something, right? With the ISO committee and all that.
Yeah.
For fireworks. And right now, everything coming to fruition. Only 4 years later is that's just crazy. And especially taking into consideration, right, that he is the head or the founder of a lot of those committees. Or, he's in the IETF, he was in the TC 307, he created that. He has spoken to EU, he's spoken in the UK, he's on the UK marketplace. He is literally with the BIS, the Central Bank of Central Banks, and he is whispering in everybody's ears. And everybody that is anybody in the banking world or in government has been parroting everything that he's been saying, right? It began with the network of networks that then evolved into the Finternet, and a bunch of those other things. There is no way, there's no way that another company with a similar solution, if it even exists, is going to go away with the price, right? I mean, we're not playing a finite game, right? We're playing an infinite game, so you cannot quote unquote win, which also means you cannot lose, but you can get a majority share and keep on playing.
I think what will logically happen is you will get some kind of like is this a word in English? Oligopoly? I think it's not a monopoly, but it's like we have like multiple companies, which kind of all together they kind of control the market.
Yeah.
And there will certainly be competitors. Will be kind of the kind of competition you get in the search engine world, where you have Google just dominating the market, and you also have people using Bing, but they just use Bing because it's in their web browser for some reason, and they are not capable of installing Google.
Yeah.
Or they use some other like service.
Yeah, they use Edge because they don't know how to turn it off.
Or they use Yahoo or some other search engine because they just prefer that. But there will just be one main company, and there will be some kind of other companies like which are offering a similar product, but it's just not the same thing. I think that is what will happen. And it will not be that Quant will dominate the entire market. I don't really believe that, but I think it will be so dominant that it doesn't really matter anymore. That is what it makes it so special, because like when you see the people in crypto just fighting over this narrative where a Solana or call me any other blockchain is going to the ETH killer, you know, the chain that's going to kill Ethereum.
How much percent do you think?
Such a small market share of the entire DLT space.
How many percent of the mobile vendor market do you think Samsung has?
In total?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be around. I think the biggest mobile phone company is probably like Xiaomi and then Huawei. I think they will be the biggest. So that'll be around 20-25%. And I think Samsung will be around 15. No?
Samsung is at 23.6, Apple 27.7, Xiaomi.
Yeah, Xiaomi will be the biggest. 12. Okay.
Yeah. So Samsung only has 23.6%, and Apple only has 27%.
So that means that the half of the market is still in like all these other. I thought Xiaomi was the biggest.
Yeah, not according to stats counter global stats.
Okay, but it said something like 15%, so I wasn't too far off with that.
Yeah, no, but it's not about being right or wrong. It's about what we're trying to perceive as what is market dominance, right? It's
and then Samsung is a crazy company. You have this meme. Let me put it up for you. Now we're in the philosophical stage. That's the late banter. Wait, give me one second.
Speaking of, what annoys me the most, and we spoke about that in the pre-episode as well, is fewer and fewer people think for themselves. It feels like, at least in my surroundings, right? I know globally more and more people are starting to think for themselves, but the more people, it feels like, are actually like, okay, hold on, but this is a little bit weird. Why am I not doing X, Y, Z? I don't get why there's still so many NPCs out there.
Yeah, wait. I'm trying to pull up a meme.
You're the meme.
No, I thought it's. No, it's not here. There's this meme somewhere in the internet where it's like, are we doing this now? And then, you know that meme? Wait. Ah, man. This is bad. I thought I had it somewhere.
Have you just typed in Samsung meme?
No, wait. Yeah, wait.
Samsung makes better bombs than ISIS. Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not that meme necessarily. I'm gonna wrap it up to the conclusion because we are really going into the stage
Nitty-gritty.
of the episode where it's not really about anything anymore. But it's good fun. It's one of my favorite memes at the moment. Let me pull this up for you. Give me 1 second, please. Oh man, this is bad.
Galaxy Note 7 is apparently not a very good telephone, or what is it? Tablet? There's like
Wasn't
all
that
these
the
memes
exploding?
here.
Wasn't that the
Yeah.
exploding phone?
Yeah, apparently. Upon buying the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, it comes with fire extinguishers.
Fire extinct.
How to
Yeah,
safely
they had
charge
this
your
phone
Galaxy
that was
Note.
kind
And there's
of.
the guy in his bomb suit.
I remember that was the thing, right? In the past, they had this phone that kind of exploded.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been a while. It's been a while.
Your
let me pull this
second is
for
up,
you.
my friend.
Yeah, well, I'm looking it up.
How did Baby Boo say that?
Produce.
You also probably haven't seen Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z.
Bits.
Produce.
No, I know Dragon Ball Z, but it didn't really. Oh man, this. I'm really screwing this up, Emma.
Oh.
Is it so long ago? I think. Oh, it might be here. Yeah, I think I have it. Yeah, I have it. Brilliant. I had to kind of go all over the internet. This is one of my favorite.
I seriously
formats.
doubt that, my friend. I seriously doubt you went all over the internet.
No, that's
What
true.
is that?
That's true. This is a meme format where I'll introduce you to it, and then they have all these companies, and then kind of the meme is like, I guess we're doing this now. So like with Texas Instruments, we all know it's from the calculators that produce, but they also produce laser guided bombs. And then you have Yamaha, we do pianos, but they also do golf carts and yachts.
They started with instruments and then they started doing motorcycles, yeah?
Yeah, and then it's like, I guess we're doing pianos now. I guess we're doing golf carts now. And then it's, I hate this fucking company.
Yeah.
And then we have Bell, like, they started with these jars, but they're also doing like space telescopes.
Yeah.
And they have Samsung.
I still have those mason jars, by the way.
Yeah, and then and then you have Samsung, which is like absolute chaos. So they're basically producing phones, but they're also zoom in on it.
Yeah. Samsung does everything.
Yeah, they literally do everything. Apparently, they offer life insurance. They do medicine. They do oil and gas. Apparently, they've built a Burj Khalifa. They do shipping containers. They build buildings. They also do fridges.
Yeah. I had a Samsung fridge, really fucking good one, by the way.
Yeah, we also have a Samsung fridge, and it's still functioning after like 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
They also do like medical. It's really good.
Yeah. Samsung does everything with a chip.
Yeah. If Hitachi was doing this. Like,
yeah. Hey, what about two back? That's the Quamfy Show. I guess we're doing philosophical conundrums now.
Yeah, that's us.
That's us.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I find it in the North American company. Guns, bigger guns. Yeah.
This one is also pretty good about Mitsubishi.
I guess we lost World War II now. I guess we race cars now.
Race cars now.
I hate this fucking company.
And I see a jet coming from the. Yeah, it's. And then you have Big, like the pen company. They produced the ball pen in like the 1950s, and it's still here.
If it's stupid but works.
Yeah. Okay.
They probably have patents for the ballpoint.
Yeah, I guess you could also unleash this on Overledger, right? So I guess we're doing this now. With all the verticals, you could actually make that meme for. But why hasn't anyone built that meme? Why hasn't anyone made that meme? I think we could actually pioneer that meme with Overledger. I hate this fucking company.
We can destroy that because it started with interoperability, and now we're
Yeah.
fucking doing everything.
Exactly. So this meme actually applies to us. I'm
And on that
gonna see what I'm gonna
bombshell,
do with that. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do with that. That
that's
meme
nice.
formula.
That's a good one for the website and for the Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening. It's been an hour and
Thanks for
16
watching.
minutes.
Thanks for
Don't
your
forget to
patience.
subscribe. Don't forget to leave us a like.
Use
Because it
BYBIT.
really helps the show. Maybe leave a comment or anything. It kind of pushes the algorithm. And the further the algorithm pushes us, the more people become aware of QNT. The better we all do at the end of the day. So yeah.
Oh, you're so clever.
Yes. See you in 2 weeks.
We like see. Stay Quamfy, people.
Stay Quamfy.